right, what's happening, my friends? Welcome back. Are we live? Let me check. Back. I think so. You guys are good? What's happening? Welcome back. Good to see you all. Episode number 73, right? 73 or 74? Wait, let me check. Episode number 73. Yes, sir. How are you guys doing today? I hope you guys are doing well today. It's an important session because we're dealing with a major event later on in the New York session. So today we have to talk about that. The market just opened up. A new daily candle has printed. So what is going to happen next? We're going to talk about it here. Yes. Perfect. Let me see what the chat is doing right now. A little bit earlier than usual, right? Slightly earlier than usual. So perfectly on time today. Let's see if we can get some of the expansion here. But yeah, man. Looking forward to it. So anyways, Makuna, good to see you. Nam FX, Gonzalo, good to see you, man. Pablo, good to see you. Good morning. Nam FX. Yes, Moritz. Are always streaming like this around this time? Yeah, usually around this time. Actually, usually later than this time. But now make sure I stream before 9. I launch before 9 p.m. EST. So 9 a.m. for my side. Nathan, good to see you. Liv, good to see you. Stoneman, good to see you. M2M Forex, what's happening? Nathan. Matt, yes. All right. Morning. All right, guys, a lot of things to discuss. We have so many things to cover right now. We have the non-far payrolls coming later on. This will be huge for gold, by the way. You know what happened last time, right? Gold's holding up quite well right now at the moment as well. We're bouncing from some serious levels. So we have to talk about this as well here. Anyways, let's get the party started, my friends, and make it an amazing stream. Yes? All right. Okay. My friends, good to see you all. Welcome back. Today we have the NFP later on. Okay, the major pushback could be happening around the NFP, of course, when we have during the New York session some major news. You guys know what happened in the last NFP right now. Absolutely craziness. Let's talk about this in a second here. Look at that. This was happening in the last NFP. This was that NFP candle from last time. I hope you guys remember this very well. I mean, it's printed in my mind forever. I'll not forget that moment of that manipulation that we saw right here, that massive breakdown in New York. And then that resistance became something we could not break ever after that. Okay, that was the NFP candle. That was that major resistance right there on the NFP, and we could not break that resistance after that NFP session. So today is the NFP, okay, and I just want to warn you that this is next, a new session, a new release, and it's going to be super important. Hopefully we're going to see some crazy movements after that, because it's usually where price really significantly makes a decisive turn, right? Either we pull back up all the way, or we are breaking structure to the downside and actually breaking new lows, right? It is usually the game changer that we need to know right now. The NFP is something that we have to pay attention to a lot. Not for us right now, but definitely for the new session later on, okay? Anyways, gold is back right now, and it reaches the opening price of the week. We are now at the 4,070. Okay, so price has been pushing up, breaking out right now here. It is 9, and we started to push right around there, and we are now tapping into the Sunday open. Okay, the opening price of the week here. This is where the weekly candle opened up, right? We opened up, and on a Monday we were bearish. We created a top wick. We started trending down all day long. Tuesday we set in the bottom, then we came up. We shoot up right there. Then on a Wednesday, we pulled back. We did not break the lows. We shoot up again. Crazy though, in both situations, during the Asia session, we were here, right? In both cases. And I went short 2 times, and I made money 2 times, and price after that shoot up 2 times. That's pretty crazy if you look at it from that perspective. But again, yesterday, same thing. I set a limit order at 73. I show you in advance, I set my limit order there, and then what happened? Price tapped into the limit order and it came down. I took my profits, and then price came up after that again, okay? It was a beautiful retracement, push and a sell-off, and then price came back up. And then after the price came back up, yeah, like you guys know what happened. And it happened before that as well, the day before. I think it happened as well, the same thing. Entered the short, stop loss and break even after taking profits in the money, and then whoop, we all know what happened after that as well here. So anyways, sometimes it's not always about predicting the market perfectly. Sometimes it's about just managing the trade correctly and still making money consistently, which allows me to still be in that major, winning streak right now at the moment. Have not broken it yet, and today is of course a day where we have to be very patient and also be aware of the fact that we have a lot of news, the most important news, okay? So that is super important right there. All right, I hope you guys are in my Telegram, because if you're not in my Telegram, then you don't know what I do, right? So if you say, oh, you told me that you would do this, you told me that you would go there, well, yes or no, look at the Telegram, right? Because this is where you can find the confirmation, so you can find my entry. This was actually just literally saying I set a limit order at 73, and that was way before we even got there. So, that's why you have to be in our Telegram group, so you understand what I do for the right reasons. All right? Well, that makes sense. Anyways, it's important to pay attention to this, because if the market turns and you're not aware of what I do, then it's easy to just, say, yeah, you said this, you said this on stream. Yeah, true. But anyways, we followed up with everything what we said on stream, but management was key, critical over the last couple of days here, okay? And keep in mind, it is a very difficult range to trade by default right here. There are so many instances where you could keep dropping down. In this case, we're just holding it higher time of support. And we shoot up eventually. Now that we have broken out, right? We're pulling back and we're reacting again. And we're coming back to the upside here. Let's quickly look at the dollar. The dollar right now is, let's see what the dollar is up to. The dollar is flat. Yeah, the dollar is completely flat, actually. Look at the dollar. The dollar is in a very tricky flat range right now at the moment. We're not even breaking anything, right? No, we're just flat, pretty much. Yes, sir. I think we are. Yeah, flat dollar, man. Wow. Makes sense, though, in the NFP week. With major news coming right now that the dollar is indecisive and that the dollar has to make its move once the NFP is out. And I think that will happen, of course, later today. So We might stay a little bit flat on the dollar, okay? But it gives gold the room in relative strength terms to, yeah, potentially do what it does best and break out right here, okay? So we're gonna just pay attention to that and to see what gold can do now. If we pull back, great. I think there are definitely some good opportunities out there for gold actually right now at the moment. So we'll definitely pay some attention to what gold can do right now at the moment here. The main reason what we're looking for right now, and something that I think is super important for you to pay attention to, is the fact that we did broke above some major volume, right? We broke above the volume that was traded on a Tuesday. We broke above the volume, most of the volume that was traded on a Wednesday, which is actually traded at the bottom. And on a Monday, you can actually see that we are now kind of getting rejected at it. Okay, this is kind of where we got rejected at that major level. But in terms of the breakout and the support that we're creating here, you see that? This is why we bounced from that level. We bounced from the point of control off the Monday and the Tuesday. And price just broke above that. It retraced into that level. And now you can see that we're actually getting supported by that initial push that we saw, an initial consolidation that we saw actually on a Tuesday during the London and the New York session, right? So we had that huge manipulation. We tapped into the point of control. We sold off. And then we came up and we broke out of it. And now we're retesting that. And now we're turning that into support right there. So that is actually a very important moment. The fact that we broke above that, retraced into that, and now are holding at that. Okay? That is pretty good, actually. That's not a bad sign for gold overall here. If you go to the order flow and you go to the daily, look at the daily right there. Okay, I marked out that box yesterday, remember? We had that huge box right there where I said all those areas where these white lines are huge amounts of volume traded. You can actually see that if you mark out a box there, that today is where we're getting supported at. So this is that support right around there. Okay, so this is something that is looking promising in terms of the reversal confirmation, you would say, because we found support twice, shorted it twice, made money twice, but now we broke out and now we retraced it, and now it's obvious that we're kind of shifting its momentum, and then we have to go and start to dig or dive deeper into the lower time frame right now. So I'm going to mark out this level. This is clearly a point of control level that we have to mark out because that is where we held support really strongly today at that area. Okay. Now, in the 5-minute time frame, we are breaking out of a pattern right now. We're breaking out of the range. Now, this is for me always something that I love to watch because those ranges are for me super important. And also the swing. Okay, the swing is just as important for me as well here because this is where you find that resistance right now. Okay, oh, that makes sense. So what you can see here is that the swing high here, okay, to the swing low here is also measured in volume, right? In case price pulls back, then you start trending downwards, and then you will see that there is a huge amount of volume and resistance still sitting up between this area right there. You see that huge gap, right? That is a low volume node. That is the point of control. We will find resistance there and we'll most likely find support there, okay? So either we have to do two things. We have to pull back and we'll look for longs. And I'm gonna look for a push up course deeper into that resistance again, okay? We have to break out of that resistance, turn that resistance into support. We're most likely gonna take out the previous daily highs, okay? And if we lose, again, the point of control in that range, we'll most likely revisit the range lows right there, okay? So we have three scenarios that I think are important to watch. But what now currently is happening is that this last scenario that I talked about breaking down and about retracing back to the range lows, is the least of the scenario right now because we held that support quite strong and we consolidated and then broke out right there quite aggressively. So that is definitely a sign of strength right now. And the dollar, if you look at the dollar is more or less at the top of that range than at the bottom of that range as well. There is, in my opinion, if you stay in the range, more momentum to the downside too. So overall, I would say that there are definitely scenarios where breakout confirmations above this range right here could be interesting. I would say that in this case, the retracement will be amazing. I think that that's going to become a great setup. If price, let's say, comes into this area right there, and we really start struggling, do I really want to go short? I mean, it's quite bullish right now. I have to be honest with you guys. It's quite bullish. So I have to be very cautious with shorting, in my opinion. But if there is an area of shorting, then this is where you will find the most resistance. There is no doubt in my mind that this will be that area where we'll find the most resistance right around here, okay? And that is because of the fact that we have a swing, we have a low volume node, we have the Sunday open here, okay? The weekly open is sitting there inside of it, and the point of control of that range is sitting right below that as well here. So this is resistance. And if you're thinking about longing right now, then we're a bit on the late side. You have to wait for the retracement, or you have to wait for the breakout and turn that into support for the continuation to the daily highs or the previous daily highs. That is a better confirmation than to try to long right now and to try to get into a trade knowing that you're going to tap straight into that resistance right around there. Okay? My intent is to simply wait for the pullback, because I do believe that the larger play, the larger breakout here, so the larger push breakout retest and then the consolidation breakout is more bullish. And I think that a retracement into the range or into the swing here is a better long than trying to short now this zone and then to look for a short position. And then I think we could take a long and then take profits there into the point of control. And then if you see the breakout, great. And then we can trade it back higher. Right, something like that. But I would love to see if we could potentially get into that area. But I do see that we are resistance now though, right? We're not far from resistance. And I think that we have to then definitely look at that area. On the order flow, I think as well here, you know that we have that resistance sitting right around there. I think that is exactly that level, right? The 75, pretty much around the 75 is, I think, the same here. It's 76 on futures. We're trading at 76 on futures and we're trading at 64 on spot. So if we are in the 98 minus 64, 73, let's say 13 points, 75, yeah, 75. Yeah, that's pretty much this resistance right there. Okay, pretty much that resistance right there at the moment. Okay, do you have problems with your connection? Not at the moment though. Things should be good. Let me know in the chat if there are issues, but I think it's fine. I think it's fine. Okay. Anyways, let's see what happens right now, because we broke out of this low here. We have the point of control sitting around there. We have a beautiful gap sitting around here. When talking about support, I think we have a zone around there in that low volume node. I do think that we align relatively well if we put our stop loss below that wick. I think there are opportunities here. Okay, if we pull back, I think there are opportunities around the 50, the 4050-ish, down towards the 4044, and then maybe even stops below the wick. To be honest, like it's pretty good deal. It's a pretty good deal if you ask me, right? It's a pretty good deal. There is a lot more potential. It makes sense. Okay, it makes sense. Yeah. Okay. Bro, Cheese, please change your thumbnails. Yeah, I should do that. But anyways, we'll figure that out. We'll figure that out. Yeah? We'll figure that out. We'll figure that out. One thing we love to do is the volume profile. Okay, we love to use the volume profile. It's one of our favorite tools ever. I really, really love the volume profile. One of my best things to do is, and if you want to learn about how I draw these swing profiles and everything like that for free, I'm gonna start recording some short-term content on the Telegram channel as well here. I'm not gonna post Telegram videos. Maybe sometimes I will, but I think it's gonna be like a Loom video or like a quick Zoom recording or something like that. I'm gonna put it inside of my Telegram. So if you wanna learn about the volume profile as well, I think the I think you're gonna learn a lot from it by being in our Telegram group right there. Okay. You also see how my trade went yesterday after the stream, right? Where we set the limit order, where we executed it. And yes, we took profits. And yes, price came up after that. We came back to our entry. And yes, price shot up twice to the upside. But we made money twice. And that's all that matters for me. Making money in this market is what I'm looking for. And I'm not always going to catch the big moves. Unfortunately, I wish I was that good that I could always predict the big moves perfectly. But right now, my main focus has been management. Managing my trades accordingly. So I can actually build that account up very nicely. And I'm doing a challenge right now at the moment. And small account challenge, and we are growing this account right now quite heavily, only from the stream analysis, by the way, nothing else. And that's what we have been trying to do. And we added another win after this to our list right now, which is good. So the consistency is there. I just need to be as consistent in July as I was in June. Okay, that is my goal for July, sorry, to be as consistent in my management as I was in June as well here. So yeah, let's see what happens, right? Let's see what happens. Let's see if we can find some of that alignment there. Okay. So what are you looking for? I think around the 50s, it's that low volume node here. This is something that I'm interested in. Okay. The 50s, the 4050. I think that is a little bit of a retest, of course, of the breakout. And then I will put my stops, I think, below the wick, not below the zone, below the wick. And then I target at least the point of control at the 70. So that would mean like something like this, I would say, right? Something like, it's not the largest risk to reward ratio, but it's okay. It's good enough. Because there is potential that you try to get higher. And that is the retest for the breakout, right? The retest for the breakout and then the continuation, etc. But, you know, it's a step-by-step process. And we need to manage the trade accordingly. Let's see. Let's see. The dollar is chilling. The dollar is chilling. The dollar is slowing down, okay? Oil is dropping. Oil is dropping. Oil is at $67 right now. It's coming down quite hard as well. So this is these are all good signs for our goldie indeed. Okay. Anyway, I still not received the book. Already input the email, check the spam, only receive your messages, but no book. What's your email, my friend? Let me check your email. Send me your email or on Instagram or something like that. I'll check it out for you. Yeah, send me a message on IG. I'll check it out for you. I think you should be able to get it, but it just takes time. Yeah, only receive your messages, but no book. Okay, I'll figure that out. Okay. It might take some time though. It might take a little bit of time. There are some delays lately on it. Okay. There are some delays on it. Yeah. It usually takes a while lately. I don't know. There is some I don't know why exactly. But 3 days waiting for the book. You see a lot more people have issues with this right now. Okay, we'll figure it out, my friends. We'll check it out. What's going on there? Yeah, we'll figure it out. Maybe try it with this link right there. Why the Asian sessions? Ask the chat why. All right, we're pulling back already quite hard, right? That's a quite aggressive push back. I will give it a quick try though. I think if we are in that area, let me see where the valuation is at right now. Ooh, we're still pretty overvalued actually right now. But yeah, that has to do with the dollar today. That's the main reason why. The dollar is just doing nothing, right? The dollar is flat. So this is a specific day where the valuation might be a little bit off, to be really honest with you. Because the dollar has just been in a flat range right now, right? There's a little bit of a deviation. It's not as clean as usually when the dollar is dropping, that the gold is going up and vice versa. I will lower my risk a little bit though, because of that. I take it very serious, actually. I do take it very serious. Yeah. Why Asia? Well, we have been trading Asia then super aggressively right now, to be honest. And yeah, not just Asia as well. Pre-London, I would say too. Right? It's not just the Asian session, to be honest, right? It's also the London session as well. It's kind of like both. All right? Let's be honest. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, that's a quick push back. That's a quick pullback. That must be in our zone right there. This area right there. What level is this? The 58. The 58. The 63 is the 50. 58 is 45. Yeah. Yeah, a lot of people have been trading Asia right now as well. Just that the price action has been actually really good. And the movements are pretty decent. Yes, you have days where nothing is happening, right? Where there's like just a ranging market. But even in the ranging markets, I mean, you can make money for sure. Sometimes with Asia, if you miss out on the move, right? You have to wait for the pre-London to make the retracement or something like that. That's the only difference. But then you just set up your orders, you set out your orders. And you wait for price to get back to the level. All right, on NFP day, is it risky to trade today, or what do you guys think? I personally think that according to the price action, it's okay. It seems all right. It seems all right, but let's see. Usually, it's not the best day to trade. Yeah, so we tapped into that point. We tapped into that low volume node 2 there. the swing is super important, right? If you see super clean price action like this, right? We always look at the swings because you'll find a lot of information in those swings right there. And it's very nice to track it. It actually is very good. Then you have another level below, which is sitting right there as well. So if I would get out, the stops would have to go below those wicks, below that wick, I would say. It's not even the biggest stop loss, to be honest. It's not even that big. In terms of like points, it's not even that big. Yeah, I really want to get see if price can tap into the low volume node here. That would be the best level. It would be nasty if this is the bottom right now. That would be like a one. That would be literally a 1 pip miss. Yeah, that's that range, right? Yeah. So we have the hourly. Yeah, I'm gonna take this as the buying zone. But keep in mind the stop loss will be lower. Low volume node. That would be the target. 71. Air conditioning by remote. Okay. Yeah. No, even on futures, it's not in there yet. We're not in that zone yet. Nope. 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. Nope. We're not there yet. Dun, dun, dun. Come on, man. Okay. I'm in. Let's give it a try. Let's see if the low volume node is really all about it. Point of control is sitting below. Stop loss below there. Right there. What am I trying to target? I'm trying to target the 70s. Usually I want to see like a nice clean reaction. I don't even see any reaction today. So we don't have the clean reaction today. But we have the point of control there at the red line. This is a very important level. I was already doubting if it would have bought there or if I should have bought in the low volume node. I decided to buy at the top or inside the low volume node. Okay, and we're back at entry. And we're in green, finally. That's a little bit of green. Just a little bit. Can we break out? If you can break out of that high, that would be fantastic, right? If you can break and close above that zone, that would be beautiful. Like that. With like a lot more volume, like that. Yeah. Yeah, the VWAP, right? Yes, sir. The VWAP. The VWAP. We want to close above that, of course, in the 15-minute candle. We really want to do that. We're definitely reacting from our low volume node, that's for sure. It took some time though, but now we need to break out of that internal high, right? Now we need to break those highs, and then I feel very comfortable. Very comfortable. What are you targeting? We're targeting the the 71, pretty much. Yeah. What is my entry on 50? No, 50, 50, 50, 50. Come on, break up. Just break the highs, that would be nice. What is your entry on MetaTrader? Same thing, man. I think it's just 50. 50 point, 4,050.41. Yeah, 4,050.41. Yeah. That W, by the way, will be a $2,000 win on the account. If this is a nice W, that will be a $2,000 add-on to the account. Okay, we closed pretty good. Let's be honest, we closed pretty good. Is that the new account? Yes, the challenge account, yes. It's a real life trading account, of course. But it's a challenge I am doing. It keeps me sharp, it keeps me grounded. It keeps me humble. I like to set challenges sometimes as well. Yeah, initial closure is very good actually. If this 15-minute candle closes like this in 4 minutes, then that's what you really want to see. Oh, we're back again. That's not the cleanest. Let's go lower time frame. Lower time frame order flow. Let's go into the real juice. I mean, it's not bad. It is not bad. It depends where we close this candle again. We'll probably find support now here. If you close below again, that's not a good sign. But we really want to close above it. We didn't close above it. I don't like it. I don't like it. Let's see how this candle closes though. We're not gonna sit here and wait. We're gonna close the candle first. We're definitely holding. Because the VWAP predominantly. Belonging a red card. I missed the news yesterday. I woke up shocked. Yeah. You need to be very, very sharp with the management, especially at the first day of the month. So the last day of the month, the first day of the month, and news days. Okay? News days as well. I don't like it. I don't like it. Like I said, I told you guys, I don't like this. Too much zigzag here. That should not be what. That should not be nor. That is what you don't want to see. Yeah, and a closure below that. That's not a good sign. We have to cut it. I'm gonna cut it. Winning streak is over. I'm gonna cut the trade very, very small, but I'm gonna cut it. Can we still bounce here? We could, but I don't trust this move. I get out of the position now. Very small. So we cut it very quickly. I'm not here to hesitate now. We might pull back still. I don't like this zigzag price action right now at the moment. I think it's very gnarly around the NFP here. I don't trust it. I don't trust it. Nope. I'm very curious to see what happens though after this. But I don't like it. I don't trust it. Not this one, not today. I told you, bro, don't do it. You didn't listen. The only person I can listen to is me, myself, and I. Okay? That is the only person I can listen to here. Could this trade play out? I don't like it. I don't like the setup. I don't have good vibes around the setup right now at the moment. I'm not a big fan of the suppression here. Especially when we're closing below the VWAP again after swiping the highs here on the order flow. So you see we take out the highs, we break down again, we take out the lows. We're now close below the lows. And no, I don't like it. That's it. I'll take it. I'll cut it quickly. Yeah. Let's see what happens though. Let's see if we can break back above here. We're still in it. The zone is still holding, right? So if you say I'm gonna let it ride, then let it ride. Then let it ride. But I'm not a big fan of it myself. Yeah. Not the feeling, no. Closure below the VWAP for me is usually a bad sign. And I'm not a big fan of it. But hey, listen, don't shoot the messenger, right? I'm just doing what I like to do here. We have been growing our account tremendously. We've been in a big winning streak right now. This is the first smaller loss that we have been taking. We're taking some losses, small losses here and there. And cut some trades short if I don't like what I see. And in the long term, that benefited me more than it didn't. You know what I mean? So if you don't trust it and say, oh, before you guys say it was not a good entry, it was not a good buy. If you guys say now, yeah, it was a good buy, and don't shoot the messenger, right? But I think that I didn't like the trade setup. For me, it was not something that I wanted to be in. Okay, personally, yeah. Philanthropist, you are buying in the selling zone. Yeah, it's definitely holding. So if you are in and we break and we close above those highs here, then I salute you, because then the whole dynamic changes again. But this is zigzagging right now in the center. I'm not a big fan of it. Personally, I'm not a big fan of it. Okay. Yeah. Bro, which broker are you using? I'm using Vantage. Don't have a link for you or something like that, but I'm using Vantage. Yeah. Red says China shut down paper gold trading. What do you think when it's combined with futures Fed decisions? I think that is bullish. That's super bullish. If China bans something, it's usually bullish. just so you know. Yeah. Why did you close the setup? I didn't like the setup because of the closure below the VWAP. And also, whenever the candle closes, I'm not a big fan of how price reacts. I don't know, guys. I just didn't like the trade, okay? Can I be honest? I personally just did not like the trade. If it plays out, it is what it is. It is what it is. When we manage positions, right, and when we grow an account, this is exactly the way I grow my accounts. It's like, sometimes you need to know how to cut trades and not be too much detached to the outcome after that. And this is one of those examples in real time where I'm like, I'm in that situation, right? Let me update the Telegram real quick for transparency purposes. 1 second. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah. Makes sense. Okay, analyzing the long term, please. I have a huge position at 4283. What I think could be happening here is if you see 4083, you have a long at 4083 or a huge position at 4283. Wow. I mean, it's hard to say, man. As long as we're in that range, it's really hard to say. But there is a chance right now with the higher time frame that we might make a little pullback. But you know what the problem is when I tell you this? The NFP can change everything on a dime. That's the whole point of the NFP right there. Right? Yeah. Let's see if I can show you this right now. Yes. Yeah, you see a lot of resistance around this level here. If you do break back above that, then that would be better. That recovery was actually quite decent. But we need to break out. We need to close and break above this resistance right there. And actually close above that, that will be good. That actually creates a re-entry maybe, potentially, by the way, that closure above. Because that is actually quite decent. But that resistance is serious. So let's see if you can actually do that then. If you can actually close above that resistance. Yes. Ronald says, I blew so many accounts because not making quick decisions like this and hope it bounce. I copied the same entry and same action just now. Actually feel good, allows and learn to control emotion. Yeah, I agree. Personally, for me, that is one of the biggest things. One of the biggest problems that I have usually is hesitation. Hesitation is a killer in the long term. For my side, hesitation is an absolute killer. If you cut a trade and the trade plays out after that, you hit yourself on your head because you think, oh man, I should have stayed in. But the amount of times the price does the opposite, right? That's also something that you have to think about, right? It's hard to remember the times when you cut the trade short and it saved you, right? But it's easy to remember the moments where you cut your trade short and the trade plays out. So you have to put it in perspective. Okay? You have to put it in perspective. But if you do break out and you close above that and you guys are still in the trade, then I think, listen, then I was wrong about cutting it. And then the trade was a good setup. Yeah? The zone was a good zone then. But then we have to close above that resistance, so let's see. Is the chat still in? Okay. Yeah, the zone was good. The zone is a good zone, right? That's not the issue here. It's just the price action around here. There's something holding price down. And you can see it right there. And that zigzag right there. Is nasty. We closed at the body as well below that zone. And I was like, yeah, that's not a good look. But then we reclaimed it pretty much immediately after that. So this closure will be very crucial. You really want to close above the 67 on futures. 67 on futures? Yeah, I think so. 67 is 68, 65, and 52. So we are a 13-point difference. So that means if you need to close above the 68, you need to close above the 50, 55, all right? Above the 55. Yeah, Yeah. Yeah, I'm very curious what happens here now also, to be honest. Yeah, again, you see that? Look at that zigzagging. Yeah. It can break it. You see that? Yeah. Yeah, I'm very curious, to be honest now, just in general, to see what happens here, because this is what I saw quite quickly. And I was like, nope, that's not a good look. That is not a good look on gold. But at the same time, we're forming that support here too, right? We have that, we have both sides right now. It's very nasty though, let's be honest. It's very nasty. In 5 minutes, it looks very... it looks very nasty price action here. I don't like to be in trades like that personally either. So I'm happy that I'm out, to be honest. Yeah, we closed below the VWAP again, and we are now rejecting from it. That's why we're seeing this push down here. You see that? I saw that actually happening before already. And then we shoot up again aggressively. But that's why we're seeing this right now, right? And this is the reason why I cut the trade, because I was like, there is something happening here. Something that I don't like. But at the same time, there is support here too. Yeah, if you close below point of control, then it will be that will be an issue. Because that will confirm pretty much everything that we thought about. No matter what, it would have been a hard trade, regardless. I could have found a way, in my opinion, right now to look at it and to yeah, to pretty much exit on break even, for example. I could definitely find a way to do that. Break even or like small profit, of course. But then I probably would not close the trade either. Let's be honest. If we would be up here, I would have not closed it, I think. Would have probably left it the way it is. Yeah. But it's okay, guys, to be honest. A little closure right there. Look at that. This is completely normal. I mean, look at this. We have a pretty clean structure in this overall history of our live sessions. And I think this little cut right there, this early closure, in my opinion, from my perspective, was a good decision according to the price action today. And I can see that the market is a bit weird right now. It's a bit strange. Yeah, it's a bit strange. So I'm like, You see that? Let's see if we can actually break down here. The day has just begun. A winning streak still has a chance. If I close the winning streak is, yeah, the winning streak still has a chance if we close the day in green. But I'm not here to force anything. Like, this is a very small loss, keep in mind, in comparison as well. There we go. You see that? There we go. So, yeah. We're breaking it low. And now we're holding the point of control again. Yeah, sorry guys, but this is the price action that I don't like to be in right now. I hope you guys understand this. Could have left the trade open here. We're back at that same level as where I caught the trade around there. And we're kind of selling off right now a little bit deeper again. And I think the market is setting up a little bit for the NFP here. We had that little squeeze up. And now we're breaking back towards the range. We could still bounce around here. Don't get me wrong. But now we're breaking it. You see how we're starting to break down. And yeah, from my perspective, cutting the trade early was a good decision. I stand by that. I don't change my mind. I even thought it when we were coming up. The only difference that it would make if you would actually close above the 55, then I would say, okay, now we have a follow through here, but we did not do that. So yeah. Trust me. What do you prefer? You prefer to cut the trade in a small loss right here when our entry is right there, right? Now let's be realistic. Right here, when our entry is right here, or hitting our stop loss right here. What do you prefer? Stop loss. People saying stop loss. Take the stop loss. You guys are G's. You guys are funny. Yeah. I mean, yeah, who knows, man? Maybe we do push up here, but I don't think that's the trade I want to be in right now at the moment. Let price come down a little bit more. Let's see what happens inside the range. We do have some other levels right there below. This is where we are now. Actually, we're in that level now. But yeah, the hourly candle is going to close in around... Oh, it's already closed, by the way, 8 minutes ago. Okay. This is the new hourly candle. Yeah. Okay. Yes. Yeah, the point of control is doing its absolute best to hold up here. That is for sure. This is also still an important level. As long as you don't close below that, never say never. Right? It's not over until it's over. But if you do close below the point of control in 2 minutes, yeah, then it gets then that would be very, very then the chances of that playing out would be significantly smaller. Yeah. Yeah. If no indicator like the order flow you have, what other indicator can we check that trade is not going well and just losses? It's paying attention to the closures, yeah? To candle closures a lot more as well here. Yeah, for me, paying attention to candle closures and especially in what I've noticed, and this is something that I've learned from watching order flow every day for so long, is that if you look at the candle on the 5-minute or the 15-minute, and suddenly out of nowhere in the last minute, right? In the last 30 seconds even of that candle, the last 30 seconds to a minute, most volume comes in suddenly, like a lot of volume comes in, and then the candle closes in that direction of the volume. That is usually the direction of where price want to go. So for example, let's say we're bullish, right? Let's say we're bullish and price is coming up, and then in the last, like, we start hovering around, we start to not be, we decide to be indecisive. We go up, we go down, we go up, we go down. But then in the last 30 seconds, price flips down and it closes with more volume, more tick size, like you see it going up and down and with more volume. That is usually the direction price want to go. Like that's what I've noticed from watching the order flow for a long time. Okay. Yeah. So I would watch closures and I would watch the last minute of the last candle. User says the plan is to go to sleep. I just woke up, man. It's 9 a.m. here. 10 a.m. here. Yeah. It's 10 a.m. But that's something I would look at. Okay. So yeah, we did close below that zone. We did close below the point of control right now at the moment. You can see that. So yeah, to be really honest with you guys, I truly believe that cutting the trade was a good idea. I really think so. Like, even if this would play out, I mean, that means that we would have probably had to deal with a lot of drawdown right now. And we would be hoping for the best and praying that price would potentially flip bullish. And then it comes down more and more. And then we would have been in a very nasty situation. So I'm actually happy to not be part of that right now. And knowing that my stop loss would be below those lows would not give me a great feeling right now. Yeah. So sometimes we were in a crazy winning streak for a long period of time. Sometimes you have to cut losses too. Small ones. Yeah. This is also part of what we talked about in July, and the goals for me is management. Because the strategy to me and the system to me, it's I can dream it now, right? I can dream the system. I can dream the entry zones. I can dream the bias, the daily bias, the things like that, the session bias for me. But management is something that can always be better. Always be better. Yeah. Show us your profits. I would say follow my Telegram. I do need to update the last trade. But yeah, I'll do that now. Nato says, I did a mistake yesterday, hoped for the short and got cooked, lost 10K on my live account. Damn. Damn. What is the next level we're bouncing from? We're bouncing from the value area high in another zone. This is another area of support that we are reacting from right now. which is this level, you know, there is still hope. Obviously, there is still hope. There is actually still hope. We're now back in the range. Man, that would be crazy if this would... this is the very high. Okay, this was that last zone. This is why my stop loss would have been below that, because we had this level right here. It's pretty tricky though, man. I'm very tempted, but like, wow. See this. Oh, this is what I was thinking about as well. Wow. Yeah, now finds resistance again. Do you incorporate ICT concepts in your trading? No. I'm so tempted. I was so tempted to enter again. Main reason is the value high of the range breakout. It's one of our favorite patterns actually in this game as well here. This kind of messed it up in my opinion. This consolidation beforehand messed up that setup right after that, but this is in generally speaking, an area of interest as well here. Why don't you come along during the New York session? Because I love the Asian session. Asian session is incredible. I love it. Look at the price action. Even though we're in this chop here, it's still overall better than New York. I love it so much now. I love the Asian sessions. It's great. It's amazing. I'm winning a lot of money. But yeah. Would you be looking for sales? No, I'm definitely not interested in selling, right? Otherwise, I would have already looked for sales earlier. I would have been looking for sales from up higher. So no, I'm not interested in selling. I'm just thinking that buys that were really chop here. But look at that reaction from the very high. So I say I was very hesitant to enter. Same resistance though. Yeah, if this is the breakout, then most likely this is the break above the very high in the point of control. Will most likely continue to go higher. Yeah. Yeah. Right there, right? Breaking this high, and then we'll most likely turn that into support. to target the highs. Now the ideal would have been this level, of course, which is the very high of the range. This is actually in our book right there. I'm figuring out why some people are not receiving the book right here. I need to figure out the reasoning behind this. I will make sure that you guys are gonna get the book if you don't have it. Okay, I'll make sure that we talk about this right there. But it's about this one right there. Okay, it's about this is exactly the pattern we're talking about right now. You see the consolidation, manipulation, expansion, or you see the consolidation, expansion, retracement, continuation. These two patterns are, this is what we're seeing right now at the moment. So we have consolidation, expansion, retracement, continuation. And we have here internally now, potentially, depending if you close above it, the consolidation, manipulation, expansion here. Just didn't want to trade the consolidation here. Should have waited for that price to pull back to this area, enter at the bottom from the range, and then take the long setup and then wait for the breakout right there. To be really honest, we're looking at the back right now. That would have objectively been, of course, the best zone to look for. And even if that wicks below the lows and it closes still above that, it would have been a good scenario as well here. This might not be the real move, to be really honest with you guys. Sorry to say that, but this might be the real move right now. Okay, because this is looking, this is starting to look better. If you take the lows and you close above the highs, that's usually just a really good sign of yeah, internal consolidation and the manipulation to the downside inside of the bigger range and then the breakout. I was very tempted to enter at the bottom here immediately. What held me back was this area. So it's kind of a little bit choppy, but if we can close above that, that would confirm that we'll most likely will take out the highs. You can see that we are facing some major resistance around this level. We can't seem to break. But the moment you do though, I honestly don't see a reason for price to revisit the lows again. Because it took out the lows already. And then it took out the highs. And then the larger move is happening now then, right? We have then that confirmation play. Honestly, I would have loved to re-enter, of course, at the very high, which is the typical setups we take when we look at this one right there. The fixed profile right there. It's one of those typical trade setups we look for. The value area low in a downtrend, okay? So if the value area low in a downtrend, right there, this is the value area low. Let me actually highlight this for you guys. It's the value area low. Right there, the very low, and in the case of an uptrend, it is of course the value area high, right? It is the other way around. So you range, you break out, you retrace, and then you tap into the value area high, and then you push back up, right? If you just trade those two patterns as a beginner trader, you will find winning trades. I can guarantee you that. Okay, you will find winning trades. Highly recommend you to look at patterns like that and practice that, because this is what you see a lot in the market, is that you consolidate, you are in a balanced area, you then break out of a balanced area and you retrace back into the range, and then you confirm the support, and then it goes. So if you are a beginner and you like to start learning the volume profile, My suggestion is to start very simple, mark out smaller ranges and breakouts and wait for the retest in any of those levels. The very high, the very low, or the point of control. The very high in an uptrend or in a break up, the point of control in a downtrend for the break down. Sometimes if this happens, so if you are in a range and you do come up and you do react, but then you break down and you hit your stop loss, yeah, but then sometimes what happens, or what happens a lot, is that this CERC pattern, so the consolidation, expansion, retracement, and then continuation, turns into a CME pattern. So the manipulation and then the retracement. Then you can still look for shorts, but then from the point of control or for the very low. So you turn your long into a short setup. So yes, you lose, but then you have a confirmation for short. So this is something that you could learn to work with, and then you target 2-to-1 setups, right? The reason why you target 2-to-1 setups is because you then only have to be right around 30% of the time to break even. So if you take 10 trades and you win only 3 of them, you usually, roughly speaking, break even, right? It's a really good way to get started and to learn with the volume profile and to study this. Wow. Okay. Today we have a little bit of a messy condition right now in terms of the market. And I'm looking at it right now. I'm like, this is kind of the situation that we are in. You can see that we're pretty much holding that resistance there really well. And at the same time, we have that range right now here as well here. And we're kind of trading inside of it. And we can't seem to break both. Now, if you do break out and you do break the highs here, it's a different look right there. If you do break the highs, it's probably going to take out the highs there, and it's going to continue to go higher when those lows are taken out. But the Asian condition today is not the best, to be really honest with you. You can see it in the price action. And what I think is going on right now is that the NFP is part of that later on. The big news of the week is coming in the New York session, which is the non-farm payrolls. And it's about the employment data that's coming out for the US. And I do believe that this has a major impact on gold and on the sentiment of the market in general. It is all about employment right now. And the last numbers came out really good for the dollar, which absolutely crushed gold super aggressively. Matter of fact, we came back into this zone right there. If you go to the 4-hour, if you guys remember that, this was the period, and I have this huge line there, okay? That is the NFP. That is the NFP line right there, okay? No idea why it's not loading. Let me see if I can make this a bit larger. 1 second. Can I make this bigger? 61 days, yes. Boom. There we go. This was the NFP candle of the previous month, okay? This was the NFP right there. And this was where the most volume was traded, inside of that NFP candle on the 4-hour. And we could never break it, okay? Look at that. We were a whole week after that, we were in that resistance of the NFP POC. Could not break it. And if you take that line all the way to where we are here, again, couldn't break it. Couldn't break it. And what was here? This was the FOMC. Okay, that was the FOMC right there. The Federal Reserve interest rate decision. Price took out the highs, it swept the highs to invite buyers, and then it dropped. And then it pulled back. And how do we call that? We call that a consolidation, manipulation, expansion, retracement, continuation. That is the CME, like we talked about in our book as well here. But that is that major NFP candle that has causing gold to not break the 4,300, the 4,400 anymore. It was not possible for gold to break the high. And that was all due to the NFP right there. 81,000 contracts, most volume was traded there. We could not break it. And today is the NFP again. Okay? So I just want to be aware that you have to be aware of that. And also for me, that's another reason to be not that, to be not hesitant in terms of cutting trades if the price action is not clean. But what would I would say the setup would be now? I would say, to be honest, you need to break out of the range high, and then you have an opportunity to trade towards the 71. Yeah, that I would say makes I think the most sense is that we have to break above the I would say the 55. You have to close above the 55, 56. And then I think we're going to revisit the 71. You're going to find support inside of this range right now. It's going to be very tight. And you every time you think, oh, now it's going to go, now it's going to break out. Hard to say when it will break out. If it will break out, but that would be the confirmation. It's a break above the 57 and then targeting the 71, I would say. But it's a small opportunity, right? It's not the biggest move. Yeah. Yeah. The elite has been absolutely crushing it. They have been absolutely killing it right now at the moment. And they're trading, and they started off also trading those patterns, but with the system as well, with the order flow. Yeah, you just get all the insights, right? You get all of these insights. You know exactly when to stay in, when to get out, etc., here. Some of them are still in longs, I guess. Yes, they are. Some of them are still in, according to what we can see here. But I want to give a special shout out to Sony, because Sony was that guy. I think I showed you guys him later on, but I want to thank him personally because he's a very hardworking person. And he has been really doing his absolute best to, become funded, right? For the first time. He never was able to become funded before. Can you believe that? And now he's finally funded. And matter of fact, he's not just funded. He also has his first payout immediately, which is actually incredible to see, right? It's amazing, amazing to see people turning funded here. Hey, everyone, especially... Just wanted to share some good news. I finally passed my prop firm challenge. Big thanks to Lorenzo Corrado for the guidance and all the mental support. To be honest, this took me 12 attempts. Right? So he was trying to get funded and he wasted account after account after account after account. And then he joined our elite. And then he became funded. And then right after he became funded, look what he says right here. Like that is some motivating shit for me. That motivates the shit out of me as well. Absolutely. Right after he said that, oh, another guy here. Pascal, congratulations, my friend. But right after he said that, look what he says. This is the profit across 2 accounts from that trade. One from the funded and one from the real account. Almost 10K profit. So he comes in, blows 12 accounts, gets into the elite, becomes funded, boom, 10K profit. Some real money in his pockets right there. That's the real juice right there. Very, very proud. And it's amazing to see that, okay? So I'm very, very proud of Sony. I just want to give him a personal shout out because he has been showing up to every session we've done, every lecture, pretty much everything from the beginning. So I just wanted to give him all the love and support right there. Because I know how it is to struggle so long and just like get that first payout, 10K, boom. It's just life-changing. It's life-changing. When did you start with the elite? I started not that long ago. I think we started 2 months ago. Yeah, we started around 2 months ago and with a very small group. And a couple guys have received payouts. A couple guys have already... a lot of guys trade personal accounts too, to be really honest with you. They don't trade prop firms. Not all of them trade prop firms. So, yeah. But not everyone has the capability to trade real live accounts from the beginning. Should I be joining the elite? I don't think you should if you are a beginner. A complete beginner, I think you need to have some experience. Sony was a good example. He was a guy that actually, you know, already had and went through all that shit as well here. You know, Pascal that got his payout was a good example. For example, I would say Quasem was a good example. He traded already for a while, right? This guy was in general already a guy that has been already putting in some work, that knows the basics of trading, right? Ken is another guy. I think he was also just a guy that we really have to look at. Ken, Quasem, Pascal. There are a couple guys out there from around the 30 guys that we have, 35 guys that we have in our group that are in short term really succeeding right now at the moment already. Skinny D, Frederic, Arthur, Rody, yeah, Sam. All of those guys that joined here already had some trading experience, right? So if you are completely new, then I would say don't even think about the elite right now. We are close, by the way, but just join the free Telegram group, right? I literally shared my entries there as well yesterday. I shared my limit order, my execution, my take profit. Pretty much everything that I do is also in Telegram right there in terms of updates. The live streams are free. I've written a free book for you, which explains pretty much the core concepts of how you can utilize the volume profile, which if you are a beginner trader, I think is super valuable because you want to learn how to trade the volume profile. I think that sets the tone, that sets the foundation, and it gives me always the best levels. Yeah, the best levels to look for, okay? But in terms of the elite, we will be opening up, I think very, very soon, but it will only be to around a small group of people for a couple days. I think a couple days we will be open and we'll be closed again. And then you will not hear anything about this for the next 6 weeks until we open again. And that's how I like to build a really small community. So we have like a big group, we have our Telegram, we have our YouTube chat, right? That's now a real tight community as well, which I love to see. But in Discord, I like to keep it very small and organized, right? I had a community before where you had like everyone involved and everyone traded differently. And then there was one guy that traded this and that guy traded that. And they were all fighting and all showing ego. I'm the better trader than you. That doesn't really work. You can't moderate that properly. Everyone who joins this group learns the exact same methods, exact same tools, order flow, the exact same precision setups, the playbook trades, everything the same. And they still operate differently. Some of them take long, some of them take shorts, but that's not the point. The point is that they follow a system that is aligned. So you know that if you are in the group with the right people that are serious guys, that have some experience a little bit, you just know that they're gonna align, they're gonna work together, and they're gonna succeed in that way. And that's how you compound your results. Yeah. Why no updates about the New York session? For now, the Asian session is where we are thriving at the moment. Okay. Yeah. The Asian session is where we are thriving at this current moment here. But today is the NFP. So we're cutting our trades. Are we looking for potential buyers or sells? The only thing that I could think of is a breakout trade. I'm not usually a huge fan of breakout trades, to be really honest with you. But that's the only thing that I could think about is a breakout setup. If you would break out and retest, you would probably look for the continuation to the 71, which is like 150 pip move. I'm not the biggest fan of breakout trades myself, but that is the most logical explanation I can see now. Is that we create a range, we expand, we hold support at the value high. We come back up, right? We break out, and then internally speaking, we have the 1 minute range right here, right? We manipulate to the downside. I already caught my trade inside of this range, but we manipulate to the downside, and then we break out, right? And then we push up higher. So the alignment with the range, breakout, retest, manipulation range, manipulation, breakout, and then retest, and then targeting the highs. It makes sense. Yeah, it makes sense that price could eventually break out and take us to the 71. But that's what we have to actually see the closure above the 55. And for now, that is somehow a level that we cannot seem to freaking break. We cannot seem to break it. And that's the price action that we in this session had to deal with, or have to deal with, is that we can't seem to break this. And I saw that already really early right there. And I was like, I'm not going to try to enforce a setup when I see that constant rejection there. Unless I am willing to take out the low and look for longs at the bottom of the barrel and try to trade it to the top of the barrel. You know? But that's another topic. That's another discussion. Yeah. That is another discussion right there. All right? Yes. Do you have any females in the group? Yes, we have. Of course we have. Not many, I would say. I think it's what? We have Faye, we have Hannah, we have Daiva, we have Jacqueline, we have Simona, we have Yana. Exactly, Yana. Don't forget Yana. Yeah, we have a lot of women actually in our group. A lot more than I thought actually. Because there are only 40 people in our group. 39. Including myself. So it's a very small group. Very small group. Yeah. Yeah. That group is 6 weeks, 12 sessions. It's live trading. It is, of course, all the templates, the tools, the indicators that we use. It's the playbook of 7 different setups that we look at every time. It is the determination of management. I think it's the most undervalued is management, trade management. We're also obsessed with entries, you know, entries, exits, entries and exits. But what about management? What about growing our account, actually growing our account? Because you can be right 80% of the time and then lose one trade and lose your account. Did that happen to you before? You're killing it. You are right. You're correct. Most of the time. But then that one trade blows up your account. Yeah, if you are in that loop, in that vicious circle, you can be amazing at your analysis, but you're still not going to make money in this game. So it's not only about being right all the time. You need to get rid of that. It's not only about being right every single time. It's about how much money do you make at the end of the month, and how do you deal when you lose? Can you accept losses? Are you able to move forward? Are you able to actually deal with that so you can actually grow your account and make some money? Because it's cool to win a lot and to, you know, be a great trader and a great analyst, but you need to make money. You know what I mean? You need to make money. That's what matters. Making money. You need to learn how to make money. Okay, is this then the breakout that leads you to the 71? Is this then the breakout? Is this then that closure that you wanted to see? It might be the breakout, huh? Just do it. I know there are a lot of people in this chat that are still in the trade from the beginning. I'm not gonna get involved now. Okay? I made my decision here. I'm not gonna chase the market down right now at the moment. But if you are still in the trade, I'm gonna support you fully. Okay? I'm gonna support you till the end. But you need to break freaking out of this line. You need to break this freaking high. You need to break it. It doesn't want to break it. Come on, man. Every closure. Every closure. Just close above it. And then you guys that are potentially still in the trade, if you're still in, have a much higher likelihood of succeeding. But that means that if price, let's say, would get there, right, we would actually get to the, we would actually get there. Then the first thing is, of course, taking out the high. And it could be aggressive, okay? It could be aggressive. And then the 71. So you would probably move up straight towards this structure there, okay, which is the highs right here. Pretty much immediately taking out the highs and then moving to the 71 if you can close above this strongly. I'm also super tempted though to enter, but damn. That closure is clean. But I think I have to be a bit careful today. And just be responsible. Because I know there are going to be better sessions for me where I could make where I can make my money cleanly. And it's very tempting to re-enter and to say, okay, I'll just re-enter immediately. I need to make my my cut back. But I don't think that that's what I want. And especially not in the NFP right here. I think it's wiser as a trader to be right now more preserving. Let the NFP do its thing. And trade the aftermath. The closure still has not been done. We're still below that level right there. Look at that. We're still below it. Yeah, it's crazy. My girlfriend is here. She's still in that long setup from the bottom. She actually took a long earlier. She took the long already before the session. He's still in the setup. She's still in that long, right? What? On 2 accounts. She's still in that long on 2 accounts. What is your entry? Can I show it? Okay, my girlfriend is still in the trade right now at the bottom here. But that was already way before, that was before our agent session already. She entered. Wait. Oh shit. Damn. Wow. Wow. Damn, okay. Can you guys see that? Let me show you. Look at that. Oh, can you guys see that? Look at that. Look at that. That was before the Asia though. Yeah, if you break out the target to 71, right? The 70, 71. Yeah, GG then. GG. GG. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, she trades too. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. She's in the elite. Obviously. She's in the elite. Okay. I think this is the first official closure above. Above that zone. So it pretty much leaves price up for the grabs right now to the 71. I would say, I think this is an interesting level to watch. The 71 is a level to definitely pay attention to now, because I think that this is that range, the breakout, the retest, the manipulation, the retest of the very high, the real actual, the resistance, the consolidation, the breakout, and then the target of the highs. It makes sense though now. It really does make sense here. It really does make sense. From an order flow perspective as well, it makes sense. The 4 hour, it makes sense. Yeah, it makes sense. It makes sense. It makes sense. It makes sense. Jerry Sunset says, you woke up too late, she makes money while he's sleeping. Yeah, it's always like that. It's always like that. Yeah. It is always like that. I agree. Yeah, there we go. I think we're gonna go very soon. It looks better. It looks better. It looks better. Yeah, look at the 50-minute. It's starting to look better. Okay, just saying. Now that we've broken that high, I'm just waiting for the big impulse. I mean. Sir Candlestick, price action must dominate. If the VWAP there, sure, it's something to think about, but then also mid-market, you're really neat at analysis. I would turn more indicators off. I could imagine that. I mean, yeah. I mean, if I would look at my results and I would ask myself, man, based upon my actual trading results, my real life results, should I change anything that I'm doing right now? And the answer would be nope. I should trade exactly the way I trade. And let the results speak for themselves until long-term something is really off here. Yeah, I think that's the best way of doing it. it's just letting people do their own thing and let the results speak for themselves. Yeah. Yeah. Are you out of the long position? Yeah. Yeah, I already know. You didn't see what happened? You didn't see what happened? I cut my trade short and then loss, smaller loss. Even though it's still holding up. And now we actually have a pretty decent confirmation, to be honest. But yeah. Sir, can I join a group and let's share some thoughts over time? Love that. Yes, anytime. Always in for a discussion though. Some statistical discussions. Yes. Yeah, so my girlfriend is also still in the trade from even lower. So I'm trying to support her too. We did close out above this high right now. So there's nothing really to worry about at this moment. And that means they're probably going to go on, yeah. It seems to me now that the highs are kind of a target, according to what we're seeing here. But man, the price action in this session has been not clean. Okay, I have to admit that it has not been clean. All right, there's been a lot of chop. This was a very nice area though. Cannot deny that. That was actually the best trade of the session. So what I could have done was exactly what I did with my trade, cutting my trade short here, like I did already. I think that was a good decision. And then entering again at the bottom, at the very high. Not just the bottom, the very high of the range. But I didn't do that. And then price shoot up. And now we are breaking above that major zone. And I think this will turn into support. And I think we're going to try to revisit the highs. I would not be surprised if you do so. If we fall back in this range again, yeah, that will be... I would stop trading for the session. I would say, forget about it. Forget about that session. Like then, if you would now re-break below and you get back into the range, I would say just forget about it. Just let the NFP come and let's come back tomorrow. Yeah, 71. Huh? Why are you guys following my girlfriend on Instagram? What is that? Why are you following my girlfriend on Instagram? Huh? If you want to talk to my girlfriend, you have to get into the elite, okay? You have to get into the elite first, okay? We don't work like that. That's not how it works, you know what I mean? That's not how we do business here on this channel, okay? That's not how it works. Anyways, yeah. We've been streaming for a couple hours right now. You guys know what happened today? Okay, I'm gonna take this small loss that I caught here, that actually seems to be turning out into a winner. I personally didn't like the price action. There is one thing I could have done better, and that is waiting for price to reach the very high. Cutting my trade was a good decision, but then I had to re-enter at the very high and not hesitate at the very high, because that would have been the best entry. That could have resulted in a manipulation of the larger expansion of the range. And I think that made a lot of sense, actually, looking back at this, the range, the breakout, the retest, the CERC, like in our book at page number 47, okay? Page number 47, right there, the CERC, and then the internal CME. So that is actually a very valid setup. It's a playbook setup, okay? It's not random, it's a playbook setup. I'm not a big fan of the breakout trades myself. I'm not liking breakout trading too much. It's not really something that I like to do a lot. I like retracements. Okay, I like even on the lower time frame, smaller time frame retracements too. I don't really mind, but I do like retracements. I like limit orders. I like retracements. I like waiting for price to get into certain retracement, because I feel that in retracement, I'm usually better at managing my trades and controlling my money and my P&L in general. What do I think could happen here? I do believe that here is a moment now that, according to the structure, that we could potentially revisit the 71s. I do think there is a chance that we would go for the 71s right now. And if we would fall back in the range and we close within this range, I would potentially just say, you know what? It's not the right moment to trade. It's the NFP day. I would stay out, because that would be very confusing right now if that would be the case. Okay. Yes. All right. Ricardo, should be careful with spamming in the chat, my friend. All right. We'll listen to you for sure. Okay. Please suggest the best price action book for beginners. I would say the LTA Concepts book that I've written is one of the best books. I'm very confident about that in terms of understanding the volume profile. Understanding volume in the market is so nice because it's not subjective, right? And this is what I love so much about the volume profile. For example, lower time frame order blocks, you know, the drop base rally, etc., also are levels that are clean, but in somehow the volume brings me so much more confidence, because I understand where the most volume has been traded, where there's less volume traded in the market, and volume is very hard to manipulate because volume is executed orders in the marketplace. It is not subjective. And I love to work with something that's more reliable, something that's not that subjective, something that shows you the historical executed orders in the market. It doesn't show you the amount of longs versus shorts, but it does show you where has been the most interest and where has been the least amount of volume executed, which is also an inefficiency actually, or an imbalance, right? So if you trade imbalances or whatever, fair value gaps, things like that, the real fair value gaps are actually the low volume nodes, in the way I see fair value gaps, or the way I see imbalances. These are for me what I call the low volume nodes. And they have been very, very effective. Okay? Yes. Anyways, guys, I think that's it from my side today here. I'm going to update the Telegram about what happened, right? And what I did right there. And but overall, I'm not the biggest fan of this session trading-wise, from a price action standpoint. There was an opportunity. There was still an opportunity right at the very high. So I cannot neglect this, though. But yeah, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back tomorrow after the NFP. And then we have the major news back. And then tomorrow we have a bank holiday. And it's all day long. So we have to kind of wait and see what happens with the market right here. Because there is a bank holiday. But again, what about the A's in the session, right? That's the question. What do you guys think, by the way? Because it is the 4th of July, right? The Independence Day in the United States on a Friday, right? It is the 4th of July. So we do have to be aware of that. Yeah, the 4th of July, right there, pretty much, right? So that's something that we have to think about. But again, I do want to stream, actually. I do feel like I want to stream on the 4th of July and during the Asian session, okay? So what do you guys think will happen on a Friday? Tomorrow is the 3rd, yeah? But why is it the Friday, the 3rd of July? It's just Independence Day. Sorry, Independence Day. Yeah, it's Independence Day. I mean, here it says the 3rd. I don't know. I'm super confused right now. And it says like, this is why I'm confused, because it's like, it's saying all day long United States Independence Day. Let me check this real quick, okay? New York, US. No, it doesn't make any sense to me. Because this is on our time, the Singaporean time. Right. Anyways, regardless, I do believe that the Asian session will be open, right? So as long as the Asian session is open, we will be streaming tomorrow as well here. Anyways, yeah, we're gonna be streaming tomorrow. Let's just stream tomorrow, anyways, because no matter what, we'll just look at the market regardless of where it stands. Because yeah, well, who cares? We're gonna be streaming tomorrow morning. Okay, for me morning, for you maybe in the afternoon, and then we can also discuss the aftermath of the NFP. Okay, I think that is very important right here. All right, let's give it a try, and then this is why we trade Asia. We might trade the Asian session, and of course New York is pretty dead then, I guess, with the Independence Day and stuff, right? So yeah, let's do it this way here. Like I said before, if you like breakout trades, this is a breakout trade right now, because you're targeting the 71, because you do, and I explained this already so many times, but this is the range, the breakout, the retest, and then the expansion. This is the internal range, manipulation, breakout, retest, expansion. So you have double support here. Okay, it's pretty strong support that you need to find here. It is a chance that you could potentially get into some sort of breakout setup right around there. Okay, and target the 71s. But if we do come back down, I would cut the trade and I would not get involved for the rest of the session and stay out, because that means that the price action is just not as clean today, and we're preparing and waiting for the NFP. Okay. All right, guys. Thank you guys for joining along here, and I will let you guys know what happened with my my profits by the end of day. But I'll keep you guys updated in the Telegram group. You know, you guys know where to find me, right? And then tomorrow I will get back into the last stream of the week. And then tomorrow we'll probably open up the elite to around 20 people. So tomorrow is probably the day where you can do and fill in your application. If you're thinking about turning your hobby into a business, or turning your part-time job into a full-time job, or going from 0 to 10K a month, or like Sony, getting to his first actual payout after 12 tries, his first 10K payout, which is pretty huge if you ask me. It's life-changing. It truly is. All right, guys. Thank you guys so much for joining. And we have one of the best communities on YouTube. And especially for the Asian session, you know where you have to be. Because, you know, the vibes here with you guys are just next level. You guys have been really supportive. And yeah, I really respect that. I really appreciate you guys a lot. Okay, thank you. And I'll see you guys soon, man. All right. Good luck with the NFP. I'll keep you guys updated in Telegram in regards to the expectation stuff. All right. Cheers. Much love, fam.
Listen on the sharp, dust dancing in the heat. Kids chasing the machine bomb, bare feet on the street. Oh, old monsters, coconuts, laughing. Radio by his gun. There is no place like home. Hey, I know where I am. You call me back again. Save us, save ourselves. He's burning in my veins. Right in my wallet. I can see your rhythm and it's caught up with my eyes. When I see